What's up, my crypto legends? The Bitcoin price did get a correction in between yesterday and today, over 5%. Your question might be, why did we dip from the 52k levels? Are we going to go much lower? I'm going to explain why we got heavily rejected from this range, and also where can we potentially bounce and continue to the upside, because we have massive support just below the levels that we're currently trading at. I'm going to show you the S&P 500 and Bitcoin. Here in the candlesticks, we do have the S&P 500 is currently breaking all-time highs. There has been some correlation, but one against the other has been lagging. So it means that maybe Bitcoin in the next coming days is going to start pumping like crazy. And I'm going to explain you why with this correlation with the traditional stock markets. And we're also going to pull out the daily chart. So I'm going to show you the potential projection that there is in the next coming days for Bitcoin. So make sure to stay tuned. Hello there, Andy here. Welcome back to another episode. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. Daily TA on Bitcoin crypto, also live streams, not financial advisor. Don't buy or sell anything that I say. Guys, now zooming in here on Bitcoin, we did have this major drop yesterday. Now, everybody might have think, why are we dropping? Is this the end of the pump? It's not real? Well, guys, I want you to calm down, because basically the volume is still much higher to the upside here. We are breaking major resistance. This is just the correction inside of this major pump that we've been having for the last week, okay, as you can see here on the chart. And now what usually happens here when you start off from a bottom bit and you start breaking major resistance and you start having these waves, right? You start having these waves. There will be one of the last waves that starts getting exhausted, okay? And this was the wave from yesterday. We were just about hitting just above $52,000, and we were starting to see some slightly bearish divergence. This means that the bulls are losing a little bit of steam. Looking at the 4-hourly chart, as you can see, we were creating slightly higher highs on the price action here, but it looks like we did not have enough steam to break this resistance, not enough buying pressure. As you can see, this pumpy action that we were having from this retracement, okay, because we did call very, very nicely this major resistance, or this support, okay, to bounce very nicely. And what happens if you do not break the highs? You are creating a double top, right? So that's slightly bearish in the immediate short term. But what I want to show you here is, why did we get rejected apart from not having too much buying pressure, not too much volume, is because of the top here from this descending wedge, okay? We did have the resistance right there, but we've also got this massive red 4-hourly candle with this huge amount of volume. So if I get the start of this 4-hourly candle, which is just right over here at let's count the wick as well, which is at the 52.5, and the start of the candle here, the opening was at exactly $52,000. And if I get a box right over here, okay, you can clearly see that we have, we did get heavily resistance from the start of this massive red candle. And I explained this a lot on the live streams. The very start of a candle, if it's green or red with a huge amount of volume, it's going to be a wall of money basically, and it's going to be very hard for the price to get behind that candle. And this is what has currently happened right over here. It's also currently happened right there and right there here the last couple of days. So what is going to be very exciting to see Bitcoin is actually getting above this major resistance, which is the $52,000. And this is where I strongly believe if we do get above $52,000 with some pretty decent volume, we're going to start pumping very, very nicely, okay, and getting heavily support at $52,000. Now, this is not going to happen, potentially not even today or tomorrow, but this is why we're going to analyze the situation here, from this potential rejection here, this double top that we have created. And now your question is, how low are we going to go? Well, looking at the chart here, looking at the VPVR, we are currently getting massively supported from this peak, like I did show you, right? Okay, we did manage to get above this range on the VPVR. We are currently sitting around this huge cluster of volume. We could see some slightly volatility, maybe hitting 58.5 or even 58K range, okay? Nothing to be very bearish about. This is just a correction from the pump that we've been having for the last few days. If we take the fib levels from the low to the high, we could also have a nice corrective move to this range, all right, right where this low is, which would be at the low 48k range. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bitcoin price trading at those levels and consolidating around this area before we start continuing to the upside. Now, overall, like I mentioned, we do have some pretty nice solid green volume right over there also from this one. Okay, this is where we are currently just getting supported from this area. I think that we might just consolidate here in the next coming hours or days if we do not see some volatility to the downside, and then continue to the upside in the coming days, guys. Now, let's analyze the situation right over here on Bitcoin. Okay, this is the immediate short term. I'm not going to go too far away. Okay, we do know that we do have some very higher levels to reach, but now because we end this correction, like I said, I do see us having a consolidation around this level, plus minus $1,000. It doesn't matter. A little bit of volatility is fine, and then picking up pretty nicely because of this huge support that we got just below the 49k range. Now, if we take a look at the S&P 500, all right, this is on the candlesticks S&P 500. This is the 4-hourly chart. We can see S&P has been pumping like crazy since from the 20th of December, all right? So it's over 8 days now pumping like crazy and actually breaking all-time highs, as you can see here on the chart. Now, this chart in the orange, we do have the Bitcoin price, candlesticks, the S&P 500, and what we do have here is the price action since June, okay? So we've got 6 months of price action right over here. And what I want to show you is the correlation that there is in between the S&P 500 and Bitcoin, right? We do see here the S&P 500 pumping from the 19th, okay, of July, okay, all the way up to the 26th, and we can see also the Bitcoin started pumping round about the 20th, so just 1 day or two after, as you can see here on the chart, started pumping like crazy. So you can see that exact correlation. We have a consolidation right over here. We've also got the consolidation here on the S&P 500. So we got here a peak on the Bitcoin price. We've also got a peak here on the S&P 500 when it started dropping, right? It started dropping also on the S&P. Now, we can see here Bitcoin started pumping slightly sooner than the S&P 500, okay? So Bitcoin started pumping right there on the 30th of September. S&P really did found the floor, okay, on the 30th also, 1st of October approximately, right there. It was the ultimate low bottom. It started pumping more on the 13th, 12th, 13th, right over here, right? So you can see, the tops and the floors are, very, very similar. Now here, by the looks of things, Bitcoin started dropping slightly before the S&P 500, because the S&P 500, the Bitcoin price did create higher highs, also the S&P, but it looks like it was lagging behind, okay, Bitcoin for this major drop. Bitcoin started dropping on the 11th of November here, and the S&P 500 on the 22nd, so that's already 11 days after. Now, you can see the correlation, but sometimes one lags behind the other. In this case here, it was just a couple of days where Bitcoin was lagging behind the S&P 500, and here, Bitcoin was lagging behind the S&P 500, and then the S&P 500 was lagging behind Bitcoin here on this drop. So what we can see here, all right, looking at the price action from the last couple of weeks, all right, let's just see. I just wanted to show you the correlation that there is, and we can see that the Bitcoin price did bottom out right over here, round about the 20th, all right? So that's the extreme low. The 20th of December is where Bitcoin bottomed out right over here, okay? So what happened on the S&P 500? We also see a local bottom. And what happened here with the S&P 500 is just that it has been pumping like crazy, but it looks like that Bitcoin is lagging behind. So does this mean, by looking at the theory, okay, from the correlation that there is, and one does lag behind the other, maybe a couple of days, maybe even a week or more, or 11 days, like I showed you right over here when the start of the pump. So does this mean that if the S&P 500 starts, continuing to break all-time highs, maybe consolidating and continue breaking all-time highs in the next coming days, does this mean that potentially Bitcoin is just lagging behind and we will be seeing that run up, okay? It's another theory that I want to show you, okay? And this is just the last 6 months, but Bitcoin and S&P 500 does have a lot of correlation, during the last few years. And just looking at the last 6 months, guys, I just wanted to show you this. So it is potentially lagging behind the S&P 500, and we are going to see an excellent run up in the next coming weeks. I am still in my long positions here on Bybit. As you can see, I might be planning to add to my positions because I strongly believe that the floor is very, very close and that we'll have to continue to the upside. If you're interested, guys, you got the best bonus down below in the description for Bybit, up to $4,100 worth of bonus. Now let's take a look at Bitcoin also on the daily, because what I want to show you here on the daily is this potential massive head and shoulder that we might be creating, because we are creating higher highs, higher lows here with this trend line. We're getting supported beautifully. I think that we're just going to have a major consolidation around this range and then continue to the upside. And I think we will be breaking this top of the left shoulder, which is just below $53,000, and the right shoulder might be getting exhausted, like I told you on yesterday's video with my theory, where we do have a big spike of the volume profile just at around about between $57,000 and $58,000 right over there, where we could get massively resistance, guys, and this will happen in the next coming days or maybe a week or two. Okay, I'm not sure how fast we're going to climb there, but everything points out that we are having massive support, okay, just below $50,000, and we should be heading to that direction. And then here is where we need to analyze the situation, see if we are going to get that massive rejection, okay, or finally break it and come to all-time highs. But we'll get to that once we get to those levels. Guys, this is going to be it for today's episode. Thank you very much. Make sure to subscribe. I'll be doing live streams during the week, and check out Bitcoinsensus website for the latest news and technical analysis. We've got all sorts here, guys. Totally free information, link down below. Check out my Bybit Prime XBT tutorial to learn how to trade on those platforms and claim the bonuses. The video's on the screen. Thank you, guys, and I will see you in the next one.